So I had a client where they felt that they could not afford a home because of the way pricing has been. And the market's been very weird. We're at a weird stage with our market. It's not consistent. Are they going to drop? No, we haven't seen them drop. But what's happening now is that a lot of people are looking into condominiums. Yes, I get it is a pro and there is always a con. Condominiums are at least 25% to 50% less than getting yourself into a home. Now, what happens is condominiums are a huge risk factor with lenders, especially in Florida. And the reason being is that condominiums are operated with association, and associations kind of have their own rules in place. And if the condominium does not have proper reserves, which is required by Fannie Mae, then the lender will not approve that condominium. Yeah. And that's for your own benefit, right? To say, if God forbid there was supposed to be a hurricane or rain or a tide, will the condominium building have the proper money in place to rebuild or refix or anything? If they don't, they claim bankruptcy, then now your property went from $250,000 to now $80,000, and then everybody loses out on that. So this is for your own protection as a buyer to say, okay, this condominium does have the proper reserves in place for the bank to feel comfortable to say, okay, yes, they have the proper money, their budget has been sufficient, they have their ducks in a row, and yes, they like how this condominium looks. If they don't, there is something called a non-QM loan product, which is a non-traditional conventional loan. For this particularly, there will be a higher down payment of 25%, and the rate is typically higher on this because it is a non-traditional loan product. You could still purchase it, but it is a higher down payment and higher interest rate. So by the time you get a higher interest rate, by the time you have association dues, you're still paying as much as you would on a home for a mortgage. Yeah, a townhome or whatever the case is. This particular person, we pre-approved them. They were ready to start shopping around. She was adamant about a condominium. Turns out to be, after we ran the numbers for her with down payment, closing costs, and then her monthly payment, she was going to pay just as much as she on a monthly payment than she was for a $400,000 home. Just have an open mind. Condominiums are great if it's a starter home or whatever the case is. It depends on your lifestyle, but don't have a closed mind. Have your options open. And remember, your first home, you're not married to it. I myself, I didn't start off with the homes that I currently have right now, right? Mm-hmm. It was a starter home. Right. You started there. You're not married to it. An average person lives in their home, today's market, between 5 to 7 years. 7 years flies by like that. You have a kid, you grow, your business grows and things like that. And you want a bigger home, right? And you can rent out your current home. And yes, the prices are high, but we haven't gone down. Interest rates are going down, as a matter of fact. Buy what you can. The Gen Z or Gen X, they're kind of at a standpoint where they feel it's a huge risk to purchase a home. You're still young. Remember, you're not married to it. Take advantage of that right now. Go ahead and get yourself into a home. If you can't qualify right now, speak to a loan officer, see what you need to do to go ahead and get there. Get yourself into a home. I have this one client. She calls me and says, well, I've been denied by 2 other loan officers and they didn't want to help me out. So I'm like, let me see what I can do. She was adamant. She was super sweet. So I'm like, let me see. She is self-employed and her husband has a job, which is W-2. Now, her self-employed, she didn't claim much income, and that's a topic that we will discuss. I'll post a video on it. And her husband, with their debt and their income, they didn't qualify so much for a home. So we had a discussion. I'm like, listen, can mom, dad, or brother co-sign for you? She's like, I didn't even think of that. I'm like, what are you waiting for? Again, this goes into the topic of get your kids into a college, buy them a home. Her dad called me. We had a discussion. He co-signed for her. And now she qualifies for a house with him just co-signing. And she's shopping around. Don't give up. There's always options out there. There's always different loan programs that are out there to help, whether it's an investment, a primary, whatever the case is. There's always something out there. I know right now everybody's like, oh, the market's going to drop. Well, we live in Florida. Everybody's moving here. We're so saturated. There's not enough inventory. Get yourself out there. See whatever you have to do. Seek advice advice from a loan officer, please reach out to me or DM me. I'll be more than happy to help you through the process. Just take advantage of it. And condominiums, I'm not saying they're bad. They're good, but it has to make sense for you. What is your ultimate goal? Condominium, yes. If your goal is to say, I just want to get into something because I want to have an asset, then that's fine. Just take a step. Take a leap of faith and take a risk. You're still young.